Hello Year 6, we're carrying on today obviously with the Executioner's Daughter. Now I know that Miss Leibovitz read to you yesterday, Salter has traded some of the sprats that he's caught in the river for some tarts, and he's taken those taffety tarts down to the Frost Fair where he's trying to scam the crowd. He's put 2 gold crowns in 2 of the 10 tarts, and he's offering the crowd a chance to win a gold crown, which is a lot of money in those days. So the last bit that Miss Leibovitz read to you was that he'd put the tarts back in the tray, and you couldn't tell which tarts had the gold crowns in and which ones hadn't. Now then, your chance to win a gold crown. 10 tarts, 2 crowns. If I was a betting man, I'd say that was good odds. What will you give me, ladies and gents, for the chance to win a crown? Who wants first pick? What will you give me? Who's in for a shilling? You must be joking, called out someone in the crowd. All right then, said Salter. 6pence. Who'll give me 6pence? The crowd was silent. All right, drown me in the river if I ain't offering charity at 3pence a tart. No one? 2pence then. 2pence. Moss was so mesmerised by Salter's easy patter that she almost forgot her cue. 2pence. Me, she croaked. Me, 2pence. I'll buy one of your tarts. Did I hear 2pence at the back there? Cried Salter. Moss pushed her way to the front and held out her 2 pennies. One, young lady, 2 pennies it is, said Salter, and gestured to the box. Choose a tart, and may luck be your friend. Moss wasn't quite sure what to do next. All he'd said was that she should buy a tart. She handed over the pennies. Which one should she choose? Come on, there's people here wanting a turn before they're too old to smell their own farts. Let's have your choice, and let's have it quick. Salter shook the box. That one, said Moss, pointing to a tart in the middle. Right you are, young lady, said Salter. He picked up the tart. She saw something glint between his fingers. Then it was gone. Was it a coin? Had he kept one back and just stuffed it in the tart? She knew he was up to something. Take a bite then, miss, said Salter. Everyone wants to know if you're a winner. Moss bit into the tart, and as the pastry crumbled down her chin, her teeth chomped on something hard. She extracted the tart from her mouth, and a gold coin dropped into her hand. Ooh, went the crowd. Wow, that's what I call lucky, cried Salter. Off you go, young lady, and don't spend it all at once. Now, who else is feeling the tingling touch of lady luck? Who's next at 2pence a time? The crowd closed in, all shouting and waving pennies at Salter. One by one they handed over their money, bit into their tarts, and were disappointed. Soon there were just 2 tarts in the box. 2 taffeties left, cried Salter, and one of them is the crown. Last chance. What am I bid for a 50-50 chance of winning a gold crown? Who'll start me at a shilling? Moss gaped. A shilling? That was more than most of these people probably earned in a day. 1 shilling, called out a rough-throated man. 1 shilling 2pence, called out someone else. 1 shilling and 4pence. Any advance on 1 shilling and 4pence, cried Salter. 50-50 chance of winning a gold crown, ladies and gents. A few people looked like they couldn't make up their minds. Come on, don't be shy, cried Salter. 1 shilling and 6pence, called someone. Any advance on 1 shilling and 6pence, yelled Salter. Last chance at 1 shilling and 6pence. Go in once, go in twice. Gone to the lady in brown. Come on up, missus, and try your luck. A woman hurried to the front. Her dress was well worn, and she didn't look like she could afford 1 shilling and 6pence, thought Moss. But maybe she'd be lucky. A gold crown would be well worth it. Why shouldn't she try her luck? The woman handed her money to Salter, who held out the box. She hesitated, staring at the 2 tarts, and tried not to look at the gawping crowd. Then she reached for one and broke it open with her hands. "Ah!" went the crowd. The woman bit her lip, and Moss could tell she was trying not to cry. Dropping the broken tart to the ground, she pushed her way back through the crowd. "What am I bid for the last of the taffeties, ladies and gents?" cried Salter. "I said I'd sell them all, and I'll keep my word." "A shilling sixpence," called someone. "A shilling and 8. A shilling and 10. 2 shillings. "Ooh!" gasped the crowd. 2 shillings, yelled Salter. "Any advance on 2 shillings? No? Going once, going twice. Sold to the gent on me left. Come on up, sir, and take your prize." The man stepped forward and handed Salter the 2 shillings. Salter offered him the box, and he took the last taffety tart. There was not a whisper in the crowd as they waited to see him break open the tart and claim his gold crown. The man bit into the taffety. Chomp, chomp went his teeth. He bit again. He was chewing. A frown spread over his face. As he broke open the rest of the tart and crumbled it to the floor, Salter tossed the box into the air, sprang from his upturned crate, and dived into the crowd. "Thief!" roared the man. "There ain't no gold crown in here. Come back, you son of a poleaxe. I'll grind your kneecaps to dust. Grab him, someone!" There was a huge commotion as people tried to catch the boy darting in and out of the crowd. Clumsy hands clutched thin air. Bodies toppled over one another in the chaos. But Salter was too quick for them, and then he was gone. Moss bent her head and backed out of the scrambling crowd as inconspicuously as she could. She knew what Salter had done, and she was furious. When she caught up with him, she'd tell him exactly what she thought of him. She started to make her way to London Bridge, but as she slipped in and out through the stalls, past the spit roast fires, a hush swept down over the ice. The crowd was parting. In front of her, people were dropping to their knees. A silver sleigh was gliding up the ice towards them, pulled by a pair of beautiful greys. The horses trotted crisply, their coats rippling under a harness of tinkling bells. In the back was a mountain of white fur. It covered a man, and opposite him, a woman. All activity on the ice had stopped, and the air sparked with awed whispers. "The King! King Henry! Look! The King and Queen ride by!" Through the haze of torchlight, Moss could make out the King's face, broad and red, a ginger beard sprouting just above his bull-thick neck. Wrapped around his mighty shoulders was a velvet cloak trimmed with ermine. He lay back against the seat of the sleigh, with the satisfied look of someone who has just won a quarrel. Moss craned to see the Queen, but her neck was bent, her face hidden from view. Then, as the sleigh swept past, Queen Anne Boleyn lifted her head, staring over the ice with eyes that went beyond the crowd. Moss couldn't tear her gaze from the Queen, remembering the cold words of that stone-eyed uncle. Nothing can save her now. Save her from what? The sleigh swept on up the river, and Moss could see that though she was wrapped in furs, though she rode a silver sleigh and sat next to a king, this queen was troubled. She looked utterly alone.